MPC1 workflow. I got a cool workflow I want to show you guys today on the MPC1. This is an MPC1. It's a old school workflow, but a lot of people probably haven't used it or forgot to use it. I haven't seen too many people utilize this on YouTube, so I thought it'd be a great thing to show you on the MPC1 utilizing this old school workflow. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to load a bunch of sounds to my pool. Couple kicks, couple snares, couple hi-hats, those type things. What's going on, guys? It's your brother OTG. The OTG's for overtime grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. And today I have my MPC1. And that's it, just the MPC1, MPC 3.5 standalone. And today we're going to utilize an old school workflow, but a good workflow. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time I add videos. The music you hear in the background, that's the beat that we're going to make with this workflow on the MPC1. I think this beat is pretty dope. I wanted to show you step by step what it takes to get it done and about how much time it would take to invest into it to get it done. With this workflow, one, you want to get good sounds that are good in all pitches. That's a key. It's important to do that. You want to make sure the pitch, each sound that you're utilizing has something that you will be happy with a low pitch or a high pitch. Right now I'm grabbing this out of the Global Kingdom expansion. For all you guys who got the OTG Stimmy Pack, you know what that is. If you have the Stimmy Pack and you have the expansions, what you need to do is utilize the software, drag and drop in there and export to your MPC. So what I did is I made a key group. We're going to make a key group for each one of these sounds that we're going to use. So we're going to go out to global. I'm going to turn that to one shot. I'm going to leave poly on. And now we have our kick at all different pitches. And we have the ability now to utilize all of the functionality in the key group with our kick. So now I'm going to long press and I'm going to name that kick. I'm going to go to new track and then I'm going to create another key group track. I'm going to hit my program edit, turn on my one shot, go, and I'm going to load my snare, one of my snares up. We're going to name that snare. I know it's all kind of tedious, but it all makes sense in a second. And this workflow, this gives you the ability to work with each sound individually. And you can layer them up. You can layer it up 8 different layers. You know, there's all kinds of things that you could do now with that. And then also this gives you the control over being able to mute your snare, mute your hi-hat, and have individual mutes and draw in different things for your drum kit. So this is an alternative on the MPC1. Instead of loading a drum program, you could load your samples one by one into the pool, and then you go and create a new track. You know, you want to make sure that you're not overlapping. So I'm going to name this kick 2. If you have the STEMI pack, you got all of these sounds. They're available. If you haven't checked out the STEMI pack, you might want to check it out. These sounds are coming from the Golden Kingdom expansion that I created a couple years ago. You know, my STEMI pack is just to help people who don't have a lot of sounds have a lot of sounds. So when you watch these videos, you could do what I'm doing. I'm just giving you access to what I own on my MPC as a shared thing. We could work together. Now, the chord progression I'm going to use is in the STEMI pack as well. So now we got our hi-hat. We're going to name that. And now we got, let's go ahead and get rid of our drum track. And so now we have our kick, our snare, a couple hi-hats, and a couple drums, kick drums. This will give us all of our sounds, a separate mixer fader, a fader for the mixer. So instead of having to do pad mutes by themselves, or I go and do pad volume, you could just control the volume and totality from the mixer fader. Right now, I'm just going to choose a pretty good piano sound. So we're using the stage piano. I'm going to go over to my pad progressions. I'm turning off aftertouch because I don't want it to have that funky stuff if I'm holding the pad. Mess around with a couple different keys, see what I get. All these chord progressions are available in the OTG STEMI pack. You also get access to the MPC Masterclass. This video will be going into the Masterclass for all my Masterclass users. All month updating all the Masterclasses. All right. I kind of like that. I don't want to go too crazy, so I just want to get something laid down because I want to show you, we're going to make a complete beat. So I just want to show you how to work this out all the way from start to finish. That's why I showed in the beginning, we had all of the aspects of loading the sounds, loading it to the pool, you know, then loading each one of the tracks. I could have did all that already just to speed through the video, but I didn't want to do that. I want you guys to actually see the process step by step. All right. I'm going to turn on my half level because I want my velocity to be equal across the board. I think I might make this a 2-part video because on the second part of the video, I might mess around with moving notes around, show you guys how to humanize some notes. We might go through, do some mixing. We may go through and see what happens with messing with some of the snares and stuff. You know, we might even build out a little bit more of this beat. So I definitely might make this a part 2. Definitely might make this a part 2. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. If you can't catch it on YouTube, make sure you go over to the Gumroad, cop the OTG MPC Stimulus Pack. That will pump up your MPC with 45 expansions, drum kits, chord progressions, all kinds of things. All right, so now we're going to use Analog Dreams. We're going to just throw a pad in there to pump up that piano some and give it a little bit of oomph. I may have to go fix that piano chord progression. Let's go fix that first, because I don't like the last bar on the 16th. On bar 8. So let's go. So here's our progression that we're playing. The best way to get rid of that stuff is to hold shift and then press cut. Then you don't have to try to double tap and erase. Now we're going to select, we're going to make those notes, edit the endpoint of those notes. So that way they got a tail on them. Now that way when we go in, we could play our pad right there and that spot and really pump it up. Yeah, if you watch the MPC Live 2 mixing video, we'll definitely, you can see a little bit of what I would do after the video normally goes off. I'm going to do a part 2 to this video where, you know, I'm having all kinds of thoughts. I might want to mess with the sound a little bit. This pad, I might want to add a flex beat player on the piano. I might want to add a little bit of granulator. I have some ideas and different things that I want to do. Might put a filter on the whole beat, you know, try to give it a little dirty feel, you know. But right now we want to lay it out. I don't like to do too much mixing and too many of those things while I'm creating, because that can alter the flow of what you're creating. Right now I'm in the flow. I don't have any idea what I'm going to pick or what I'm going to use. That's why I just pick random stuff sometimes. You know, I turn the knob. Wherever we land, we land. And if we can find something, we find something. Turn the level up. Yeah, I don't take too long to audition things or any of that, because the whole goal for me is to get the idea down. If I'm flowing and I'm feeling the music, you know, I'm feeling it, I'm getting the ideas quickly, the machine's working well, everything's just going, I just go with the flow. We can always make another beat and then another one, you know, we can have all kinds of ideas. We can always save this and come back and do more to it. But we gotta have something to do more to, if you get it. We're going to add some of those hi-hats now. We got those down, and now you can see the value of having it on a key group. With having it on a key group, you know, and I'll show more of that in the second part. We can always come back and add high parts. We can add hi-hat rolls, all kinds of different things without having to load another hi-hat. And I still have other hi-hats loaded. You know, we didn't load all of the sounds yet. This workflow right here on the MPC1, you can utilize it on the Live 2. You can utilize it on any MPC that you own. This workflow kind of emulates the 2.15 workflow of when you would load a drum kit, but then you might do a kick drum, a snare drum, a hi-hat. Instead of loading the kit and doing it track for track that way, you could just do it from key groups and really build up that way. This workflow is also a workflow we will utilize on old school machines. So before I would, you know, with very limited memory, you would be very picky about what drum sounds you would load. You wouldn't load a bunch of drums. You know, even if you even would load drum chops, you might utilize just a drum loop because that was smaller. But then you could utilize everything in key groups and kind of work it from there, and then utilize your slicing and everything else in a different manner. You know, this also will give you the ability to switch everything to mono if you want. You know, you can have some things mono, some things stereo. This really opens up the capabilities and possibilities of what you could do. And to me, it gives you a great sound. It's easier to work with. But I know that the main way people are used to, and the main way that I've shown you for a long time, is just loading a drum kit. And it's not like this is too advanced, but I do think that people need to know all the different ways that you could get stuff done, right? So now we have everything else. Let's add our key group, and let's go add our snare roll. So we load our key group, turn it to one shot. Let's go find our snare roll. The thing with the snare roll is I could spend all day trying to get it to be the right pitch, but what I'm going to do is get it as close as I can and then turn the volume down. It's not there to be a mainstay in the beat, if that makes sense. I just want to fill it in places, because once I get to arrangement area, you know, we're going to cut it in and out anyway. So it really is just there to place a marker to kind of let people know it's the end of the bar, and to help the transition of whatever sounds come on right afterwards. We're about 20 minutes in and we got the beat going. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Hop in the comments. Let me know, do you make your beats this way? Do you utilize this workflow on your MPC1 or your MPC Live 2? Is this the first time you've ever seen this workflow? Or have you known about it and just never thought about actually doing it this way? Let's talk about it in the comments, man. We're building a community over here where we just creating music and feeling thankful and feeling blessed. You know, the machine can't beat us. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Notification bell if you want to support this channel. You can support it by checking out the Gumroad. I would recommend the OTG MPC Stimulus Pack, the OTG Smackers Kit. All of this stuff comes with lifetime updates. So especially all you fathers out there, invest in yourself this weekend. Go check out that Stimmy Pack, man. I'm going to be using all the stuff I use is in it, and all the stuff I've been using for 2 years is in it. I don't really build out my MPC too much more other than plugins. Anything else I pretty much have had for the last 2 years. You know, I try to overload my MPC with so much stuff internally that I could never ever really feel like it's owed to me or I've used everything. You kind of get what I'm saying? So I invest in my MPC, all of my gear. I spend hours and hours and hours stuffing them with as many sounds that I think is useful and that I see value in as possible. And so I tried to share that with you guys with the OTG Stimmy Pack. Right now I'm using the Hype Synth. I want to add some dots in there. If you watch my videos, I talk about dots and little accents all the time. I definitely want to say, always check out your old synths. Just because they made a bunch of new ones doesn't mean that your old ones are trash or you never got to use them again. That's a weird mentality that has started to come around in this producer community over the last couple years. Just because something is old doesn't mean that it's good, man. Doesn't mean that it's bad. Just because they come with something new doesn't mean that the one you have doesn't work anymore. You know, so all you MPC-1 guys, your MPC is great, bro. I love the MPC-1. I love it. I recommend it to everybody. I think out of the regular form factor MPCs, it is the best. It's got the best size. It does everything you need to do as a single producer if you're trying to make a certain kind of beats. And, you know, with a USB hub, you could turn it into a USB hub and a mixer, or something like my looper I have right next to it. You could have all kinds of sounds coming in and out of that thing and hook up all kinds of gear to it. So, you know, don't ever feel like, oh, I have the cheap MPC, so now I have to get another one. The IO is the same. The functionality is the same. The form factor is just different, and you know, one might come with some perks and the other one might not. You know, but at the end of the day, your MPC is great. Utilize it. Look, I'm utilizing Solina. It's great. Just because it's old, and I have I say it all the time, I have studio strings. But sometimes I like Solina. We spread the work around, man. Use those old plugins. Even now, right now is even more a better time to do it, because since there are so many plugins and everybody's mentality is to run to the newest thing, now is the time to spread that old work around. I'm pumping this up right now. We got a good feel with it, and like I was saying earlier, probably in video 2 we'll build out the sound some more. We'll elaborate each sound, see where we could take it. But right now, this is the bare bones. Sometimes don't feel afraid to let it loop around. Play the note that you like, and then come back and audition other notes sometimes. Turning down the volume. Now let's go look at our mutes. I need to name that. We'll name that strings. And now we're going to double length our sequence. We're going to do it to 64 bars. I'm going to audition some mutes to see what we're going to like and how we want this thing to come on. I think I'm going to let it come on with just the piano and maybe the dots. So here's the thing, when you get ready to set your automation, here's a super important tip. Before you hit your automation, you want to go all the way back to bar 110. 110, and then at 110 you want to turn all your automation on, most of it. But once you hit that read automation, it's going to create a little automation line from where you turn it on, a line inside of the list edit. So what you want to do is make sure you're all the way at 1100 and then turn on the right automation. See, I almost did it. Boom. Now we're going to do it. And we're good to go. So now on one track, we're going to create the beat that you heard earlier with just utilizing the mutes as a way to arrange. Really enjoyed this workflow. I'm happy to share it with you guys. Hopefully you guys got some value from it and you're going to utilize it. I think that this workflow right here will benefit a lot of people if they decide to utilize it. You know, I could see you getting a lot of beats done. It gives you extreme power over the drum sounds that you're using. You know, those sounds came from the Golden Kingdom. I just went and searched for a kick, a snare, HH for hi-hat, you know, but you could just click the waveform and go through your expansion from top to bottom, load up your sounds, you know, and then create a key group for every sound that you want separated. So, you know, it's all in the thought process and the mentality you want to use. You know, let's say maybe you make a key group for your kick, your snare, your hi-hat, the snare roll, but then make a drum kit and load all the rest of your percussions and one-shot sounds into a drum kit, and then utilize that way all the things you're okay with on one fader. But maybe your kick, your snare, and all of that, you really wanted to cut through the mix, so you utilize it in a key group fashion. Maybe you want to have top tier control over the LFO and all different things, unison, and have things play with chorus, and all of this stuff built into the new key group features, expanded key group features. You know, it's definitely worth taking a look at and utilizing and implementing some of this in your workflow. I guarantee utilizing this workflow on your MPC-1 will definitely help you take your beats to the next level. You can also utilize this workflow on any of the MPCs and the Force. If you own another MPC like the Live 2 or the Force and you want me to show you this similar workflow, put it down in the comments. Also, let me know, what kind of other things do you need to see or would like to see in real time and real beat making. So now you can see the plus. Everything is on a fader. Now if I wanted to turn on my automation, I could start to automate all of my faders and really go in depth with every aspect of my beat. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Like I told you in the beginning, that beat that you heard in the beginning, I was going to show you a new workflow, and we was going to make that beat, and it was going to be a slapper. And here we are. It took us about 31 minutes. I'm going to do a part 2 where I probably do more mixing, where I probably expand some on the sounds that I have, explore some different options with effects and plugins, and actually maybe pump up the master fader and see what we got. But right now, this is the beat that we made. Sounds good with no effects and barely any mix. And you can make the same beat too. It's your brother OT.